worse and worse. And you see the mainstream media, you see the corporate governance systems, you see all of these different forces working together in unison, working together as one unified system of total war to not even tell you that it's an Islamic attack or an Islamic invasion, and they won't even tell you what the true numbers are. They won't even let you know how many people have been brought in. And when they attack, they say U.S. citizens did it, even when the woman in San Bernardino wasn't. And for 2 days, they ordered the FBI to say it wasn't Islamic, it wasn't a terror attack, it was workplace violence. And they have Facebook, and they have Google, and they have Twitter, all censoring people that even mildly report on it. And now, we have a video coming up for TV viewers, radio listeners, I'll describe it. We're not even on Facebook able to put in the word Islamic in the keywords under our reports or in the headlines. The video's up on Infowars.com. Facebook caught censoring words Islamic terror during Nice attack. World's largest social media site assists in controlling the narrative. We need to write a bigger article about this and actually have screenshots for folks. We have the video, but screenshots, people understand. We have video. Facebook caught on video censoring words Islamic terror, working to allow the invasion to intensify. They are accelerating the Islamists being brought in. They are bringing in people from Sunni-held radical areas that failed in their invasion so far, partially of Syria. They're now being brought in through Turkey. They're then being flown in by the State Department and by the Pentagon to bases everywhere. They are now, you go to a park in Austin, you go to a doctor's office, you go to it is all of a sudden women in burqas all over the place. The numbers must be gigantic. My high school last year got 30 plus people. And then we called the other high schools. They all had similar numbers. The elementary schools wouldn't give us the number. They claim 100 have come to Austin total. These are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of children per school. Then you've got the open Latin American border and the Chinese flowing in. And they're all being put directly on the Democratic Party mammary gland. They're being inducted in as the army of the socialist and the big mega corporations that control them to bring down the nation. This is so incredible. And then the news won't let you see the children being run over and won't even let you see their dead little bodies. But you better believe when a cop does something wrong or makes a mistake, you're going to see it everywhere because they want the war to be on the local government that they know the globalists don't completely control. Doesn't mean the local government's perfect. God, no. But it's our local government. Police arrest Bastille Day killer's wife as dramatic footage shows moment. Muhammad, that's his name, was shot dead in the truck he used to drive through crowds, killing 84 people, including 10 children. Warning, graphic content, but everybody needs to go look at this and look at it real good and understand it's being seen in some of the European press. They are blocking it out here. Of course, the first thing we said last night during 2 hours of live coverage was, are we going to have a 5-day waiting period on trucks? Are we going to have maybe safety locks on trucks? Maybe the answer is they have to all be computer robot driven. Oh, but then somebody will hack that because you can't trust humans to drive because, hey, the truck did it. We need Truck Control Incorporated. Maybe we should sue the truck manufacturers like you sue gun manufacturers. And you know what? Find out the maker of the truck. That'd be like suing Boeing because, one of their aircraft was used on 9/11. You say, Alex, this is satire. This is ridiculous. Yeah, it's ridiculous to sue Bushmaster because the supposed shooter in Newtown got one illegally from someone else who got it legally and went and reportedly shot people. I don't know what happened. I just know Anderson Cooper's on green screen saying he's there, and they're walking in circles in and out of the building with a chopper over it. And I know an FBI agent, current FBI agent, who thinks it's all bull. And then Rob Dew's uncle, former Navy SEAL, FBI current agent. We were up there to cover Newtown, and guess who was there? City Council. Why, his uncle. And his uncle said, this thing's the craziest thing I've ever seen. I don't believe any of it, but I can't talk to you about it. He was there for the FBI looking at it. Understand, folks, I don't know what went on there. They go, oh, you say no children died. You say no. All I know is I know a $3 bill and I see one, and it isn't real. I don't know what happened, but I know something really stinks. Kind of like you go in your house and you've been out of town for a week and it stinks horribly, and you go, I don't know what dead animal, is up there in the attic, but boy, I'm going to go up there with a bag and a shovel, and I'm going to, oh, yeah, it's a dead possum. I don't know what's up there, but it stinks to high heaven. So we know 2 FBI agents that one of them I just named that say it's the phoniest thing they've ever seen, and so many others. But I'm digressing. This is real. This happened because it is a false flag, though, in that the globalists are bringing them in, letting them get weapons, letting them attack, and then blaming all of our rights, saying we've got to give our liberties up, and we've got to be nicer to the immigrants. It's our fault that they're killing us. How do you pronounce this guy's name? 31-year-old Mohammed Lahoyej Bouhoulil. And this guy's from Tunisia, North Africa. And he comes in, and he's sitting there in France in the lap of luxury, totally pissed off on the national holiday, the 4th of July of France, Bastille Day. So the coward, the filth, goes out and targets a nighttime picnic with the street closed, with kids in their pajamas out watching fireworks, and he runs over hundreds of people, killing 83. What a man. What a great guy. What a fantastic person. Can you imagine if there was footage, and certainly our troops have done things that are wrong, and the droning and all the things that Obama does are wrong. It's okay because he's liberal. Can you imagine if, say, a special forces soldier, active duty, ran over 150 people, killing 83 of them, including children, and then no one in our military or our government said they were a killer or a scumbag or psychotic? No, of course they would. But where's the Islamic groups apologizing? They don't have to, and they're not going to, because the media will not say Islamic, because this media is literally, I overuse that word because it's the only word that, when I say literally, they are literally running a program to flood us, to cover it up, to work with the enemy, because they're the enemy, and to merge with their foot soldiers, their national security force, all over Europe, all over the UK. They are putting Islamicists in charge as the police chiefs, as the mayors, and they are taking people's kids with CPS. I've had members of parliament on who are liberals saying it's true. We hire mainly Eastern Europeans that come from communist countries and Muslims, and they don't even speak English, and they're taking everybody's kids for no reason. And someone just shows up who can't even speak English, just blah, 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 and just drags you off. That's who the socialists and the government want, is a kept group that they control, that they can use as a weapon anytime they want. Now, when we come back, do I need to play the imam saying we're invading Europe, we're going to get your women? I mean, the main imam of Jerusalem. Do I need to play all the moderate Muslim leaders in the U.S. saying we're going to kill the homosexuals as a blessing to them? We're going to murder you. The guy at his mosque in Florida. And the media says, oh, you're allowed to do that. Oh, really? Telling your flock, go out and kill people. And now they have a new Pew Research poll out. In France, 18 to 29 support suicide bombing. 18 to 29. In that demographic, 35% in France. Oh my gosh, I'm reading that wrong. It's worse than I said. All Muslims polled at all ages at 35%. 18 to 29 is worse. It's 42% in France. Excuse me. 42% of military-age males in France, 42% want to kill you when they're asked. They're very proud of it. That's why they want to apologize for these bombings. They're very proud of it. Spain, 29% are proud to kill you and your family and run over your kids. And I'm sure the average liberal will probably start lining their kids up like bowling pins. It'd be a new sport where liberals bring their kids out and Muslims run over them. I'm not kidding. I think if you actually, they told liberals to take their kids out in the middle of the street and have a Muslim run over them, they'd put their kid's head under the tire and say,
on the march.
Kill my kid. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Alex Jones and the GCN Radio
Network. These are psychotic demons. So I want to be clear. I have made 5 films concerning what really happened on 9/11. It has now been declassified. It has now been leaked. That everything I put in those films has now been proven to be accurate. And the reason it's accurate is almost everything was already in the congressional report that was out in the first year. We had all the whistleblowers on. We know what happened to a great extent on 9/11. And criminal elements of our government, bare minimum, stood down so Saudi Arabia could run the attacks. Now, you expand out from there. Their operatives were probably decoys. There were other aircraft. It gets crazy. Flight 93 was shot down. We even know who did that. The Air National Guard. We even have the recordings of the 2 AIM-9s put into the aircraft. This is a serious situation. And it was meant to start a clash of civilizations between the West and Islam and give the United States the pretext to be able to basically take over the Middle East, control the grand chessboard, as Brzezinski writes, because if you control the Middle East, you control Africa below it, you control all of Asia to the east, Russia to the north, Eastern Europe, and Europe to the west. And that is the geopolitical strategy and stratagem that has been adopted as the globalist NATO program. And Russia talks a lot about this. I was against that because it was immoral. Okay? And because we were targeting Muslim countries that were not our enemies. And by that, we were going after moderates like Saddam Hussein and Gaddafi, and then later our allies in Egypt, and really doing some bad stuff. I mean, Saddam was put in there by the CIA to kick the Islamists' butt in an earlier program under Eisenhower. But that's a story for another day. He was totally set up. I mean, I'll say it, compared to Al-Qaeda, the guy deserves a Congressional Medal of Honor or something. All the stuff Saddam did, killing communists and trying to take out people and finally overthrowing the Ba'athist and then taking it over for the United States and actually having a policy of stabilizing and building up Iraq. And then our U.S. policy that was very moral changed in the 1980s when Herbert Walker Bush started running the show. And again, Saddam was a thug and did a lot of bad things. I'm saying compared to Al-Qaeda, who was his arch enemy. That's why Trump came out and said, Saddam Hussein sure was good at killing terrorists compared to our president. And they said, oh, you love Saddam. And he goes, well, no, he was a bad guy, but all I'm saying is he was good at killing terrorists. Trump knows that he was a CIA officer. Trump knows he was set up, okay? I mean, Saddam Hussein was totally set up, ladies and gentlemen, told to invade Kuwait. Okay, I'm going off on a jag. He had rock and roll on the radio and Playboy sold in shops. And I'm not saying that's even good, but that's why the Islamists hated his guts so much. He couldn't stand them. He couldn't stand them. He was trained in the West. He was sent in there to westernize the Middle East. But that policy ended by the 70s, late 70s. And they decided to go with the jihadis and the Saudi Arabians. And the State Department started sending textbooks into the madrasas, radicalizing them. Billions have been spent a year by the West to radicalize what is in Islam and to make the most radical forms the dominant form so Saudi Arabia could take over. And that's the new plan. And that's what we're under right now. And so I was against going in there because I smelled a rat. I mean, I knew it was a quasi-false flag. I knew that Saudi Arabia was involved. But what was their payoff? What you see now, the whole Middle East, the whole region. That's why McCain's involved, the neocons. Obama's running a neocon strategy. This is the same stuff we've seen before. And who are the neocons? You want to talk about immoral and evil and Machiavellian. They are the Trotskyites, the founder of the neocons. Was the adjunct of Trotsky.